Excuse me. Can I get a headset?
Certainly.
Calm down.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Steel Sanctuary Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Ribeiro, and I'm here with Bob Quinn. David Korb will be joining us shortly. He's just finishing up a few things. Bob, Aaron Rodgers watch, day 45.
Yes.
Feels like it's getting a little closer.
It started out the day with typical, hey, I'm a Steeler fan and I don't want Aaron Rodgers and blah, 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 blah. Although, and then he starts throwing a DK Metcalf, and then all of a sudden it's like, ooh, we're going to get Aaron Rodgers. So I think it took another step closer to reality today.
Yeah, the catching passes, running routes with DK Metcalf is a great sign. The only thing that concerns me now is, what's the holdup? Is he really thinking retirement or Steelers at this point? That's a little scary. Is he stalling to see if another team will pop up at the last second? I'd rather that than him be debating between retirement and the Steelers, because that 1 foot out the door thing, that scares me.
Yeah, I really feel like the retirement thing is completely made up. I mean, I think there's guys like Schefter are just throwing something out there and hoping it sticks. And we've talked before how Schefter and Aaron Rodgers really don't like each other.
Yeah.
And anything that comes from him, on Aaron Rodgers is probably at least third hand at best.
Yeah.
100%. And I've kind of said through the whole process, look, it's going to take, the McAfee thing is the natural thing. But, then again, we were talking about it in prep. Maybe all of a sudden he turns around and says, you know what? I don't need to go to OTAs. Let's wait till training camp.
I think people's heads would explode if he's not signed before the draft. I think
Absolutely.
The Steelers have to take a long look at what they're doing if he's not signed by the draft. They got to. I know Mike Tomlin, and we'll get to his press conference. I know he says they don't have a plan B, but they better come up with one fast. If we're a week away from the draft and he's unsigned,
I really think it's a wink deal. I really do.
I kind of believe that too, but
where it's like, hey, keep your mouth shut. Let's announce this. Because that whole notion of he showed up on his own to the Steelers offices, they weren't expecting him, and all of a sudden they moved heaven and earth and skipped the Michigan Pro Day over that. I don't think that's true. I wouldn't buy that.
Hey, I think he's already said they're going in with 4 quarterbacks, so they've already made up their mind. They're going to draft one, and Rodgers, whether he's here or not, is a whole nother thing. So the dude's practicing with DK Metcalf, guys. Why in the world would he remotely do that if there's not something going on, right? I mean, if you're not planning to go to the Steelers, then why are you practicing with a guy you've never practiced before? Has he ever? Are they friends? I mean, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but have you ever heard of DK Metcalf and Rodgers hanging out, practicing together?
No.
I haven't. So why would they do that?
Isn't it funny how DK, he loves Russell Wilson. They're so close. Hey, Aaron, you might be my quarterback. How about we get together and throw a little bit?
Right.
Well, listen, he's nervous as the rest of us that Mason Rudolph's going to be the guy throwing a football come September, so he's going to do whatever he can to get Aaron Rodgers here.
Smoozing Rodgers is fine.
I just don't understand, and like a lot of people, you came to Pittsburgh, you spent 6 hours here, you're throwing passes to their wide receiver. What's the fucking holdup? What are we waiting for? Is it really this stupid, event on April 9th? Is it that? I mean,
we've heard and you got to kind of take Kaboli a little more seriously on this because he has the relationship with the McAfee show. I think he feels like, he's not going to be pushed. He's going to do it on his own time. And I think any realistic expectation of anything other than that is just a pipe dream. He'll do what he wants, when he wants, how he wants. But again, you ain't throwing a DK Metcalf if you're retiring.
Right.
It's not.
Now, Mike Tomlin has been, very quiet on this. He at the press conference today, I don't have a deadline set. I'm fine with this, blah, blah, blah. This Aaron Rodgers, I do what I want when I want. How long does that last if he starts pulling that in training camp? If he starts pulling that in practice? Are we headed for some headbutting drama between the head coach and the diva quarterback? I tend to think we are.
It's possible. I don't know what David thinks, but yeah, it's possible.
I think we're going to find out.
We're going to find out.
I think we're going to find out. Look, they put themselves in a corner, guys. So they're kind of they're at the mercy of Rodgers here. Like if they want to have a legit quarterback, then they're going to have to wait. I wanted them to set a time a long time ago, but that was a month ago.
Me too.
Now we're already into April. What, tomorrow? Yeah.
Tomorrow's April.
So I'm at a point where, well, fuck it. Everybody else is signed. Just wait it out. You're going to draft somebody anyways. And you got Mason Rudolph. You might go 9 wins. You might go 4, whatever. At this point, fuck it. They've already waited a month. Might as well just wait and see what happens. They're going to draft a quarterback no matter what. So now I'm not worried about it. I just don't want them to do something stupid in the draft, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think it would be kind of cool. Somebody, I think Vaughn mentioned, don't fall for the Big Ben April Fool's jokes tomorrow. Wouldn't it be just Aaron Rodgers to a T if he does sign tomorrow and half the fan base doesn't believe it?
That would
be. And then he just waits till the 9th. It doesn't say a word. And then on the 9th shows up and it's like, okay, guys, it's real. Here I am in my Steelers.
Now, Tomlin said something interesting today. I want to see if you guys agree with this because I don't believe him. He told reporters that not having the quarterback didn't affect their plans in free agency at all. It didn't keep them from signing anybody. They just went and did whatever they wanted to do despite that. That's bullshit. They've been holding this $30 million under the cap for one reason and one reason only. Yep. It's to sign Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
Don't tell me you didn't, go after a premium defensive tackle or a premium corner just because you didn't want to. You didn't because you had to save that money. It affected them the entire free agent process.
Yeah, Tomlin's full of shit.
What else is he going to say? But I'm not buying that.
And bear in mind, I'm pretty sure that's going to put them below the floor if they don't get Rodgers. And all of a sudden, you got nobody to spend that money on. Unless you extend TJ, you extend Pickens,
right?
You start really throwing it around on your roster. But it's the NFL. You can't play the Pirates game here, sorry, David. You can't play the Pirates game here and say, "Yeah, we're not going to spend the money." It's the NFL. You're going to spend the fucking money.
You don't say that. Yeah. Please don't bring up the Pirates.
Relic. We don't agree on much, but I've been screaming this for about 3 weeks now.
Yeah. Yeah,
this is embarrassing.
Yeah,
this is embarrassing for the franchise.
It is embarrassing. It is, but now you just have to embrace it.
Now you're fucked.
There's nobody left, so you have to embrace this.
Well,
it is what you can look. You can hate Rodgers all you fucking want, and what's going on. I get it. Trust me. I said I was out a long time ago doing this stuff, but now everybody's gone. Everybody's signed. I mean, what do you? There's just nobody left. So now I'm just like, well, fuck it. Just go draft a guy and hope Rodgers signs, and then you're good to go. You have your 4 quarterbacks they said they want to have.
Yeah.
And look, here's the other thing too. Now, I know there's speculation that Rodgers doesn't like to, teach kids, these kids behind him and stuff like that. However, if I do draft a kid that I think could be a weapon for us down the road, who else would you want? Rodgers knows the goddamn game. I don't think I would mind him sitting back and learning from Rodgers. Would you?
Yeah.
No, it's not a bad situation at all to have a young kid behind Rodgers to sit for a season.
And the buzz on Rodgers, by the way, behind the scenes, Jordan Love has nothing but nice things to say about him. Zach Wilson had nothing to say but nice things about him. this whole idea that he won't mentor or can't mentor, that's really a remnant of Brett Favre, who was like, screw you, I'm not going to mentor you. I think he learned from that. So you don't sign Aaron Rodgers to mentor. You sign him because he'd by far have the best arm talent you've had since before Ben's injury, even at 41 years old. And then on top of that, if you want somebody to change the way the Steelers play offense, to say, fuck you, Mike Tomlin, you better get an Aaron Rodgers, because he's the only guy who could. You get a rookie, sign up for 5 more years of not throwing the ball over the middle.
You know who's the loser in all this? It's Arthur Smith. Because no one's listening to Arthur Smith if Aaron Rodgers is here.
Yeah.
Tomlin basically tells him what to do anyway, and now Rodgers is going to tell him what to do on top of it. I wonder what he's thinking, because we all think he wanted Justin Fields back. That was his.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
That was his primary guy that he wanted.
Yep.
I wonder, is he kicking himself in the ass for not taking North Carolina job way back when they offered it to him? Because man,
I think
he's in a no-win situation. If the Steelers do well this year, it's Aaron Rodgers, and if the Steelers suck, they're going to throw him under the bus quicker than you can blink your eye.
I think if Wilson was back, he would regret not taking the North Carolina job. But since Wilson's not back, then I think it's not as bad a thing for him. Like the Wilson thing was really bad with those two. At least that's what everybody's saying.
Yeah, that's
I
the
think
word.
the fact that Wilson didn't come back, he's okay. Maybe him and Rodgers talked, and maybe they do agree on some things. You don't know. We weren't in that 6-hour meeting. Maybe there's things they agree on, so he's okay with it.
Maybe they could team up and gang up on Rodgers. I mean, on Tomlin.
I was going to say, join forces and go after Tom. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, and honestly, from Arthur Smith's perspective, it's going to make him look. Rodgers has never been the guy. He gets the credit, but he doesn't take the credit. Where he's like, oh yeah, I like Russell Wilson. Yeah, I audibled, and that's why we did.
No, he doesn't, not to that extent, but
yeah, he's always just kind of been the guy to go out there and just do it and just say, hey, I'm going to run what I'm going to run. I think we'll know off the bat, like, if those designed rollouts are in the offense, and if all of a sudden he's standing at the line and starts screaming, hey, change the play, we're going to know what he's doing. But as far as he could literally just be in the huddle, never mind audible. Oh, I can't audible, no problem. What play did he call? Okay, got it. Guys, here's what we're going to run. And then they turn around and go.
Exactly.
We talked about this. This could go one of two ways. This could go very, very well, or this could go nuclear, which I'm here for either way. This again, I believe this is Tomlin driving this bus. He wants Aaron Rodgers. I really believe he's the one pushing this, so he's got to be prepared for all the Aaron Rodgers stuff. We'll see how this goes.
And you look at it when Tampa Bay did it with Tom Brady, and everybody was kind of like, really, Tampa? That's not really ready-made. They didn't think it was. And hey, is Tom Brady going to get along with Bruce Arians? And they did for a year, and then they didn't. He could very well be that kind of deal where, okay, I'm just going to latch on and hope I catch lightning in a bottle. He's really the only guy left who you could have caught lightning in a bottle with. You're not catching lightning in a bottle with Geno Smith or Sam Darnold or even Justin Fields, who I love. But bottom line is, if you're going to catch lightning in a bottle and maybe make a Super Bowl run, it's Aaron Rodgers or bust.
Yeah.
It's probably their best shot. Out of the group of guys that we were talking about here that they had a chance to sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're hoping for like the best case scenario with Aaron Rodgers to make the Super Bowl. Like everything would have to fall into place perfectly for them to get to a Super Bowl. And you know what?
Him still have it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's kind of the perfect scenario.
Still got to have it.
He's still got it. He's still interested. He doesn't get hurt. He gets along with DK Metcalf and George Pickens. He gets along with Arthur Smith. That's all got to fall into place, and work seamlessly for them to get to the Super Bowl. It's possible. It's not likely, but it's possible. All right, let's switch gears. Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan had their press conferences today. Mike Tomlin, I'm almost to the point, guys, where I can't listen to him anymore. I can't listen to him and his spin and his bullshit. And I don't know about you guys, but I've been listening to this for what? how long has he been coach? 20 years?
18 years.
18
now?
years. It's getting old. It's starting to grate on me now because with the whole Aaron Rodgers stuff, they can't really tell the truth because they're frustrated, but they can't say it. This wasn't the plan, but they can't say it. So that just gives them license to go full Tomlinism, BS. Anything stick out with you guys from Tomlin in his press conference? He tried to spin the Roman Wilson thing. That was interesting to me. He tried to give us his bullshit answer on why Roman Wilson didn't start. It needs more reps. It's not just, it's not just being healthy. He needs more, he needs to be on the field more. And it's like, you're going into a playoff game with nobody. George Pickens and nobody. And you can't get this kid on the field.
Yeah. And then he was just straight up said it didn't work out with Justin Fields and Wilson. He
made it seem like they didn't, they left and, didn't want to be here, which they wanted to be here for the right money. The Steelers didn't want to pay him. So.
Yeah. And it really wasn't the grand scheme of things. Yeah, I wonder how long the Rodgers thing has been in the works, because you don't lowball Justin Fields unless you think that, hey, we got the inside track here and this is going to happen. There's just, at this point, hey, you want Fields, you want Arthur Smith wants these guys. And then you get the wink, wink. Well, kind of, hey, we can't rush him. We know, but come on, man. You were smirking left and right. You got him. You got it.
Yeah, but they can't say it. They can't say it until it's – that's what I mean. Official. So these press conferences kind of got they asked Tomlin point blank why Slay as the cornerback with the other guys that were out there. Why did you pick Slay? And he's, he pointed to, it's kind of like a Pat Pete thing where I wanted a veteran guy that I was comfortable with. And again, it's money. It's money. We're holding back money for Aaron Rodgers. And so Slay agreed to pay for $10 million. These other guys made more.
How do you say the Pat P thing that you liked it when it sucked?
Well, he threw Joe Hayden in there too to kind of, but Joe Hayden's totally different.
Well, Hayden was better. Hayden was better.
Hayden was in his prime.
But he shouldn't bring Pat P up at all. That was horrendous.
It's a bad
example. Yeah, like why would you bring up Hayden? Hayden did good. But good Lord, Pat P. No. Don't use that as an example.
And Slay is from where they are in their career. Pat Pete was kind of on the last legs in Minnesota. You could kind of see it towards the end of his last year. Slay was a Super Bowl corner. Only reason he's gone is because it looks like DeJean and Mitchell are the real deal. So he'd still be in Philly. He wanted to retire in Philly. He'd still be in Philly if those two kids weren't. You just gotta take your hats off to Philly. They draft lights out. They draft like people think we draft and how we used to draft.
How we want to draft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, back in the Tom Donahoe days.
Jesus Christ, Bob.
Wow.
Cheers.
They asked Tomlin if he would need a veteran quarterback if Aaron Rodgers didn't sign. And he said, I don't really think that's the case. We'll be all set with Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, very complimentary of Mason, which I kind of...
He was. Okay, if you like Mason Rudolph that much, why did you let him go last year?
Well...
And not bring him up, at least... He only made backup money in Tennessee. It's not like he got paid. They could have easily signed him if they wanted to. So it's just more bullshit. You signed Mason Rudolph because you need somebody cheap and you needed a veteran in case all hell broke loose and you didn't get anybody. Which is about to happen.
Because Mason Rudolph's good enough for them to win enough games to put butts in seats. That's the thing about Mason Rudolph. He is. Good enough to do that. He is.
He couldn't do it in Tennessee. But granted, that team isn't as good.
That team was
still.
trash. All around trash, dude. Like, it's not the same as well, it shouldn't be the same. Yeah, come on. The Steelers at least made the playoffs. That team was trash. That's not the same. Not the same supporting cast. He's going to have DK Metcalf and George Pickens now.
How many games does this team win with Mason Rudolph the starter?
How many what?
How many wins does this team have with Mason Rudolph as the starter all season?
9.
Do they trade George Pickens?
Yeah, just say the team is as it is with draft picks.
Oh, okay. So they're not trading anybody. It's as is.
Assume Pickens and DK Metcalf are still here.
9.
Okay. I will
I say
say
7.
it's either going to be 5 or 11 because he's
Yeah,
either going to throw a beautiful deep ball game after game to DK and Pickens, or he's going to throw beautiful interceptions for balls intended for DK and Pickens.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it ain't Tennessee. He's got a better supporting cast here, and it's good enough to win 9 games. They'll get their dome popped in the freaking playoffs, but
it feels like home.
Well,
right.
I'd say 7. I say 7 is the max that they'd win with Mason Rudolph.
I've been down on Mason for a while, and I appreciate the 3 miracle games. I really do. But it's there is a possibility that he could be the next guy who first round grade, and all of a sudden he makes Kevin Colbert look like a genius 7 years later. And he has a nice little 3-4 year run in him. I mean, it's possible. He'll never win a Super Bowl. But, it could be a fun story for a year, maybe 2. Maybe we get Aaron this year. We have the fun story of Mason being the bridge next year to, Arch Ialeva, one of those guys.
I just don't see that. I don't see – he's barely a backup to me. There's no talent there. He had a good run, but the team was so tired of Kenny Pickett that they just kind of rallied around him. I don't think he played particularly well. His stats weren't
The Seattle
amazing.
game, he was really good.
Yeah, he was really good. What are you talking about? Like,
this is the one game, the Seattle game. And then the next 2, he was just okay. And then in the playoff game, he shit the bed.
But the offense of a whole, though, was very successful with him as QB. Way more successful.
Well, it's Kenny Pickett. Again, these low bars that we keep complaining things to.
I get it. When you're in the basement, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
the next
there's nowhere to go but up.
But I'm just saying, like,
relatively successful.
He was good enough for them to win games. That's the thing. He was good enough for them to win games. And he'll be good enough now to win games. Not win anything of significance, but good enough to win enough games to put butts in seats, and that's what they want. And to keep the streak alive and all that other bullshit that nobody actually should give a fuck about. But that's the way they look at this. He's good enough financially.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
And that's good enough for them, especially for Art Rooney. That's all that motherfucker gives a shit about is money.
For Relic saying the Browns were rallying around Kenny Pickett.
Oh yeah, did you see that today?
Oh,
yeah, this is a live look at Cleveland Brown fans 2 games into the schedule next year.
Oh no, we suck again.
Yes.
Now, again, just like we've said before, if he does end up playing well, and we have to look back, and because remember, I don't think Kenny Pickett's a good quarterback, but Matt Canada was his offensive coordinator the entire time. And Matt Canada is the worst offensive coordinator. And I'm not even being like exaggerating. Matt Canada is the worst offensive coordinator in the history of the NFL.
In the history of the NFL.
I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
He was that bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
they got a good offensive coach there.
There were some really bad. I forget.
Bob, go back and look at the numbers. This offense was.
I believe you. I'm thinking in the history of the NFL, I remember kind of the Rich Kotite Jets. Didn't they score 8?
Yeah, there's been some other bad ones.
But let's think of it this way. He was so bad, the Steelers fired a coach in mid-season.
Yeah, exactly. Historic.
That's how bad he was.
Historically bad. Just awful.
Steelers never do that. They've done it one time. That's it.
Yeah.
Now, I don't believe that if Aaron Rodgers doesn't sign here, that they don't go out and make a desperation move.
Oh,
Kirk Cousins is looming.
Oh, I know. Please no.
Kirk Cousins is looming.
No.
I think that happened. I really do.
I think that would be an
Atlanta will
mistake.
Atlanta will eat a lot of his contract before the Steelers would ever make a trade. They're not going to pay that. But
remember, I think it was 4 years, $180 million.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
and he's only 1 year into that deal.
Yeah,
So,
so-
even if they eat a lot this year, you got to eat two $45 million years on the back of that contract. I mean, I understand there's this strange fascination with Kirk Cousins. And in a vacuum, would he get you maybe about the same as Aaron and Mason and some of those guys? Yeah, maybe.
He is, aside from the contract, which is crazy. He is Mike Tomlin's dream. He's going to get you 9 or 10 wins in this team every year. He's a little bit better than Mason Rudolph. So if you think Mason's going to get you 8 or 9, he's going to get you 9 or 10. And they would love that. If Atlanta would take a lot of that contract.
Wait, wasn't he so bad that was why Penix got a shot?
Well, he's.
I mean,
how old is he? 30-something years old, and he's coming off Achilles tear. It was tough.
Atlanta was smart.
But to compare, Aaron Rodgers was in top 10 in a lot of categories. Was Cousins in anything in top 10? Is top 15?
No.
So I
wouldn't compare Cousins and Rodgers. I would compare Cousins being a little bit better than Mason Rudolph.
Okay, when you say a little bit better, that's not worth the money. That's not worth the draft capital. That's not worth anything we would have to give up for him.
Pre Achilles tear, you would have to, in fairness, Cousins was a lot better. He's probably a top 14, 18 quarterback.
No, I don't disagree with that. Before
we don't know what Kirk Cousins is right now. So, he could have lost it completely, or he could.
I guess that's a way to look at it. Maybe if he's healed properly now, actually 100%, maybe. But guys, the price tag and the draft capital, when it's 2026 or bust for me, I don't want to.
When he retires, he might end up. He'll get passed very quickly when other guys retire, but he might end up having the highest career earnings of any NFL player ever.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
oh yeah,
yeah.
And look. If you want to pay the contract, it's only going to cost you a 5th or a 6th. If you want Atlanta to eat some money, that's when it's going to cost you more.
What's that average out to?
That's $45 million for 3 years.
There's no way.
It's not even. It's not even the top 5 in quarterbacks anymore. It's like 8th, 9th. It's almost a bargain at this point.
That's not a bargain. You're nuts for saying that.
What I'm saying is, it sounds like a lot, Dave, but these guys are getting 60. Prescott's going to get 60. 65.
Out. Nope.
You know,
wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't do it either.
You got an infatuation with Cousins. It sounds like.
I like Cousins a little bit before the injury. I did like Cousins a little bit. I mean, he chokes
before
in the playoffs,
the injury.
But...
See, before the injury, I'm there with you. I am, but after, nah, I'm good. Like he did not look good.
Vaughn, I don't think they're going to release him. They paid that $10 million bonus. They're into him for $10 million.
Yeah, they're in.
So I don't think they're going to release him. I think they're going to try to trade him.
His dead cap's got to be crazy.
I was about to say dead. Thank you, Bob. That's what I was thinking. Dead cap. Like I don't know if they're going to eat that much money, Vaughn. Maybe. I don't know.
Have to eat $45 million this year, dead cap, if you cut him, and they've already paid him 10, and it's 57 next year.
Yeah, no, there's no fucking way, dude.
I mean,
there's no way.
They could,
but they don't want
I mean,
to.
the Broncos ate Wilson's 43 or 41 million that they had to pay him. So I mean, maybe.
I mean, they got Penix on a rookie deal for the next 3 years, so I guess they could swing it if they wanted to. But I think they prefer to trade him, have some team take some of that burden off them, and they take a 5th, 6th, even a 7th just to get rid of the contract.
You're gonna.
I wonder if they do what the. No. I wonder if they do what the Rams did. Remember when they were trading Goff? They threw in a first to get rid of Goff.
Yeah.
Hey, just so we're clear here, his cap hit would already put them at their limit. So that wouldn't work either.
Yeah, well, if they acquire him, they redo the deal.
They need 5 or 10 million to make for the draft picks. So that wouldn't work.
By the way, one thing I need to correct. I read the cap hit for next year. It would be 57.5. The dead cap, if he's released in 2025, is $75 million.
This year.
If they release him this year. Next year, it's only 35.
That's insane.
They got to trade him. I mean, we don't know what the cap space is. It's probably not $75 million. Though,
yeah,
right?
but nobody's trading for that. Nobody. There's no way. Like I couldn't fathom it. I couldn't.
He got $90 million to sign.
And insane. It's just stupid.
Yeah, that's why. So he signed a 4-year, 180. So he's only got 90 million left on that deal, and they just gave him 10. So now he's only got 80. So you're getting him for 3 years, 80 million, essentially, which is still a lot. But
I tell you what, I mean, Kirk Cousins might be the smartest. I thought Sam Bradford was the smartest quarterback ever. Kirk Cousins might be the smartest quarterback.
By far.
Oh, tons.
Money wise, not play,
Money-wise,
not on
incredible.
the field. Yeah. The guy's going to make, I think, $500 million for being a mid quarterback.
Yeah.
Vaughn says the Cousins contract has a provision allowing the Falcons to automatically restructure the deal whenever they want. They have not exercised that right yet. Yeah, they can redo it and spread that cap space out. They could do that before the trade. Once they agree on a trade, they could redo the deal, take some of the hit off them. There's a lot of ways around it. The cap it's real, but there's ways around it. There's ways around it. There always is. Look at the Browns. People said Deshaun Watson, they're never going to sign anybody ever again. They keep signing players in free agency. They've made moves. They're not completely, done. What else from the press conferences today?
They got Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, aside from that. Aside from that. Omar said he wants 4 quarterbacks in the room, which doesn't surprise, for training camp. That's what they always have.
That's why no matter what, they're going to wait for Rodgers because they're going to draft a quarterback anyways.
Yeah, I think they're going to sign Rodgers and draft McCord, Howard, someone in the 4th, 5th round.
Yeah.
Fill out that room, take a shot, which is whatever. They
Maybe
can cross their
even
fingers that Milroe makes it to the 3rd and they take him in the 3rd.
Better not.
Maybe
That's
even
a possibility too.
Get a guy like Cook or some other developmental guy in the 7th round. I wouldn't put that past him either.
Either way.
Relic said the Browns finally admitted they messed up the Deshaun Watson trade. No shit.
Yeah.
Took it this long. Everyone knew that year.
Yeah, I mean, it might be the dumbest contract in the history of the NFL, but
they were so desperate to win.
Yeah.
That they just
he didn't want to go to Cleveland. Remember, he didn't want to go. They just kept throwing money at him, until he finally agreed.
Yeah,
crazy.
We could analyze the Browns all day long, but bottom line is we've started 6 quarterbacks in the last 5 years.
Yeah, look, they're so bad that they should be a part of history lessons.
Yes,
in schools. Like, hey, this right here, this is how you do not run a business. Man.
People kind of forget this, and he didn't play great in Miami. But is there any guarantee, like, let's say it falls apart and we all think Mason. Is there any guarantee Skylar Thompson couldn't beat out Mason Rudolph?
You think Skylar Thompson could beat out Rudolph?
Like, pretty.
He's mobile.
Okay in Miami.
I don't think they're that far.
Maybe
playoff game.
That there to me, I have no idea. I don't think so. But
yeah, I mean, he'd have to have one hell of a training camp because
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hands are smaller than Kenny Pickett's.
Oh boy,
who's are?
Skylar Thompson.
Oh boy.
Here we go. He's a Steeler. No wonder he's a Steeler.
I was gonna say.
I
down
mentioned
our alley.
Dave, I know we're about to move on. I mentioned to Relic earlier. We talk about there was a guy in the 80s. He's talking about this 467-pound defensive lineman. There was a guy in Florida. The 80s, Tab Thacker, who, if you are a fan of the Police Academy movies, he's the giant fat guy, who was pretty athletic and a nice player, 500 pounds, and everybody thought he was going to be a beast in the NFL. I get it. You cannot carry that much weight, even at 6'6", and be an effective NFL player. Now, if he dropped 50 pounds and dropped under 400 being 6'6", okay, maybe we're talking, but I cannot see a 460.
How many plays in a row can he play?
I can't wait to see him in the WWE. I really can't.
Can you guys put up Ted Jones's thing?
What is it again?
Ted Jones. Can you put up his thing? Where'd it go? There he is.
Don't
My
draft
man.
the quarterback.
See, he gets it. Don't
draft a quarterback in the 4th or even the 3rd round.
Yeah,
if you don't have a
we
second
got
round
other shit to worry about than to go overvalue for Milroe or Howard or McCord or whoever. Like, Ted understands. He gets it.
Dave's got a friend over there. Yes, if Skylar Thompson's the starting quarterback, you can put the hashtag Dave hates Skylar Thompson because nobody's going to enjoy that experience.
That'd be
guarantee you that.
bad.
Yeah, I understand he moves quick for a big guy. Trust me, he don't move that quick. 500 pounds at the NFL level.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
so
that being
big.
said, as a nose
God.
tackle, when you're only playing 1 out of 4 plays, okay, maybe, but let's take it. It's going to take him an hour to run onto the field.
He's going to make a roster, whether or not he ends up making a team. I mean, he's going to make a 90-man roster. Somebody's going to try to take a shot.
Yeah. Somebody
That's what
bring
I
him to camp.
A 90, and then you see what happens after that.
Somber said I already
guy.
missed Kyle Allen.
I love it.
Just wait. You're really going to miss him. If Mason Rudolph's starting week 6.
Oh,
I made
no.
the hates list.
Bob's in the hashtags now. Shit.
Yeah. Bob hates 467-pound defensive tackle. I would love it as a story. I really would. But, I mean, what was Zach Banner? He was like 375, wasn't he?
Was he that big?
He was a big boy. He's a really big boy.
He's big. 375, though. Shit.
I don't know if he's that big. We have to look that up. Omar thinks that Jalen Warren can be an every down back. I don't know about that. I want to see them bring one more guy in. I mean, fuck, Cordell Patterson is still on this team. So maybe they do think their running back room's all set with the Philadelphia running back who's escaping my
Gainwell.
memory right now.
Gainwell. Nice third down back. Hey,
Yeah, he
he's
is.
a good back.
Yeah.
Maybe they are planning on just going with that and not drafting. I would love to bring one more guy in.
Cut Cordell Mack Truck Patterson and fucking bringing a guy. Yeah, no doubt.
Don't count out guys like Damian Martinez, Marcus Yarns, Trevor Etienne. Later in the draft, they wouldn't be the, hey, these are the feature backs like Genty, Hampton, and some of those other guys, but don't count out those guys late in the draft.
It could happen. But that doesn't really move the needle much. I mean, we don't know if Jalen Warren can be an every down back. We've never seen it. He's not the biggest guy. Dave loves Cordero Patterson. No, I do not. No, I sure do not. I cannot believe this man's still on the roster.
Our chat is awesome.
I just don't. I don't understand it. All right, what else? Omar did complain about. Well, not complain, but he did acknowledge that the long-term quarterback thing is still up in the air. They missed with Kenny Pickett. They didn't bring anybody last year. He said maybe this year or next year we could solve the problem, which both these guys left the door open for a quarterback early. Tomlin said it. Omar said it.
In 26, I think so. You cannot – it should be a fireable offense if they take a developmental quarterback in the first round. And that's all there is when you get past Cam Ward. Shador is 60-40. But Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe, Tyler Shuck, they're all basically developmental guys who could pan out. But if you cannot waste a first-round pick, we said this was the worst quarterback draft since Pickett. All of a sudden now, because of 2 months of draft buzz, now it's not the worst draft since Pickett. You got to be smart here, guys. Please, I'm begging y'all.
That's what's angered me, Bob. Like, it's like, what the hell's going on? All of a sudden, Dart and Milroe and all these guys are going to jump up to and Shuck are going to jump up to the first round. That's fucking nuts. Like, I mean, I get it. We had the big run with Penix draft. Was that last year?
Yeah.
There was like 6 quarterbacks taken.
Six
and now I don't think all of them were projected first rounders either, but some teams panicked or something and took them. And I would not have done that. And I don't want to see the Steelers do it in this draft either.
Yeah. I think next year is the year to try.
We hope. Things get weird sometimes. We think next year's quarterback draft is going to be good, but it's got to be better than this year. We would hope. Mike Relic brings up a good point. Mike Tomlin did say, they asked him, are you concerned at all that you've cleaned out the quarterback room 2 years in a row? And he said, no, talk to me next year. If we clean out the quarterback room again, then it's a problem. Mike, I beg to differ with you, buddy.
Yeah, I think he should not have said that.
You have gone through quarterbacks like fucking crazy. You can't. Nobody completely clears out the quarterback room 2 years in a row.
Well, Rudolph signed a 2-year deal, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
so he's more than but does that make you feel better because they kept Mason Rudolph an extra year and they get two new quarterbacks next year?
No, I meant as far as his comment with it'll be a whole new QB room. It technically won't since he signed Mason to 2 years.
Unless
so.
they could cut him, but I don't think they would do that. It's
just remember there is a name from that 2022 class with Pickett that's out there that the more time that goes by, the more likely it is San Francisco is moving on from Purdy. And then the question becomes, I don't think Purdy would be a good fit in Pittsburgh. I just don't because of the
He got me.
But he's a guy who could be out there who maybe somebody looks at and says, you know what? Maybe
I don't want
this guy.
I don't want him. I don't want Purdy.
I don't think his game fits the Steelers
he's fine.
particularly well.
Yeah, he's fine, but I want I want a draft pick next year. I want a top 10 stud. I don't want Brock Purdy. I don't want Mason Rudolph.
No. I'll do Bob's thing. I think he's better than Mason Rudolph.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, I mean, well, they'd have to trade up next year.
Do we think if Mason Rudolph went to Kyle Shanahan, that Kyle Shanahan couldn't pull off what he did with Purdy with Mason?
No, I don't think
quite.
so. I don't think it's there.
I think
don't
Purdy's
think he processes
a little more athletic than Mason. I think.
He's non-athletic. He doesn't process very fast. Mason is what he is. You know, he's a veteran guy that's been around a long time.
Shanahan made Jimmy G look awfully good.
Jimmy G's better than Mason Rudolph. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, probably.
The list of quarterbacks that are not better than Mason Rudolph is small.
Yeah.
Skylar Thompson. a couple other guys. That's it.
You know, maybe they should call up Cordell Stewart. Everybody thinks he was this great quarterback. You know, he looks like he's in pretty good shape on TV. Let's see what he's got.
One more thing from the press conferences. They asked Mike Tomlin if there was a plan B in case Rodgers didn't sign. He's like, I don't think of it in terms of plan A and plan B. I just look at the field and make determinations from there. Buddy, the field is gone. There's no more field.
There's no field.
What are you talking about?
There's no field.
There's no field. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm just evaluating the field. You waited too fucking long. The field is gone. I can't. That's why these press conferences.
Standing at the stadium watching the grass grow because
it's just
hashtag Dave really hates Mason Rudolph.
I don't know, guys. It's Rodgers or bust. Period. Full stop. Yeah. It's Rodgers or we're drafted in the top 10 next year.
Well,
I'm telling you.
I mean, there's no choice. There's no choice in the matter. This is it.
Oh, I wanted to bring up. Did you see Rich Eisen and what he said about Aaron Rodgers' contract? He said Aaron Rodgers is going to get $40 million plus. Period. End of story. That's Rich Eisen's take on this. If they pay that man $41 million after him jerking them around for 45, 50 days, my God.
They have to pay it to somebody.
$41 million. There's nobody else bidding, Bob.
But Dave,
they're bidding against each other themselves.
Dave, you said that's the norm now. So which is it? You said that's the norm. What?
That's cheap.
Yeah, it's cheap.
That's in a normal free agency.
What you'd have to pay Kirk Cousins?
What's going on?
Kirk Cousins earned that in a normal free agency when there was 4 or 5 teams bidding on him.
Yeah, he earned it all right.
Aaron Rodgers is freaking sitting there with nobody. Nobody. It's Pittsburgh.
4-time MVP, right?
And let's face it, nobody was Atlanta.
4-time MVP. I'm just saying.
Atlanta way overpaid him.
And you've got me defending Rodgers.
I just can't. I can't. I'm speechless. And he gets $40 million. God bless him. God bless him.
Yeah.
They're not. There's nobody else in this.
It's the floor. You have to pay that money. You're forgetting. It's not you can pay him less. And you have to reach a certain threshold in the salary cap to not get fined by the NFL.
Yeah, I get that, but they could get out of that floor paying him $20 million. They don't have to pay $40 to get out of that.
Dave hates $40 million for Rodgers.
I do, buddy. I do.
I'm fucking dying. This is great.
It's. You might as well make him president of the team. is if you give him $40 million, he's calling all the shots. He just made you look completely.
So wait a minute.
fucking-
You want to? The last 6 games of last year, Rodgers showed that. Hey, I'm
like
coming
him.
back off the Achilles.
I
Wait a minute.
want him.
But you want to pay Kirk Cousins $5 million more, who was obviously washed.
Bob, it's Kirk Cousins after Aaron Rodgers stiffs them. Obviously, they're not doing it now. The desperation goes from 99 to 150 if Aaron Rodgers walks away. Now you're really fucked.
I understand. I don't want them paying like these guys $40 million either anyways, but seeing you not want it is very shocking to me, how you've been all for $40 million being
Dave,
the norm for months now. So they're
not negotiating with against anyone else.
Yeah,
There's no one offering him.
But he's got them where he wants them. They're the one desperate, not Rodgers. Rodgers could retire and go off in the sunset. It's the Steelers that need it. Yeah, but there's a difference. He don't need them. They need him. So his price tag is going to be whatever he wants. And if they want him, they're going to pay it. Am I going to like it? No, I'm not.
If you're right, Dave, and I think you are right, then they botched this whole thing.
Yes.
They should have set a deadline.
I thought that
ago.
Was common knowledge
and walk away.
A month ago.
Walk away.
Yes, they've botched
Let's be clear. There was never going to be a deadline for Aaron Rodgers. If you think there was.
There is a deadline, Bob, for the Steelers. You say, no, you sign now or we just walk away. Thanks for nothing. Well, we're walking in.
He's saying in general they didn't have it. They didn't set one. And they didn't, obviously.
They didn't.
No.
If they had gone to Aaron Rodgers and said, you tell us within 24 hours, it would have been no. And you already lost Fields.
You move on. Somebody else.
But you already lost all those guys. Those
because you waited too long.
In the first 24. They were all in the first 24 hours. You are not going to sign a 4-time MVP Hall of Fame guy who is free agent for the first time in his life to you do it now or you don't do it. Fuck you. You know how many people are going to want my services if I just sit
There
out?
isn't, though, Bob. There isn't.
There is. There is. He could have easily gone to the Giants. He could still potentially go to the Vikings. He could still go to San Francisco. There's all kinds of places.
San Francisco's not paying him $40 million. They don't have that kind of money in the cap. The Giants,
actually,
I don't know what their cap.
Because that's what Purdy wants.
But that's on a long-term deal. He's not going to get $40 million in the first year.
I thought Purdy wanted like 50, 55 mil per.
Yeah,
that's the rumor I saw.
Yeah.
Which is nuts, but whatever.
But they're offering Purdy 40. He wants 50.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
I mean, I'm tired of talking about this. I'm tired of the Aaron Rodgers watch. I'd like to see some fucking closure to this.
9th,
look, he threw the ball around with DK Metcalf, so I think it's basically a done deal.
I can't wait for him to come out and say I'm retiring. Sorry, Pittsburgh.
It's not.
Thanks for the ride.
It's not gonna. He's not gonna retire. He might go somewhere else, but he's not gonna retire.
Or Minnesota says, all right, come on over.
I will say this: if teams are offering him $30+ million, yeah, my man's not retiring. Like, if you're going to offer me that kind of money, like, yeah, I'm going to stay around.
I guess I'm splitting hairs. When they said $30 million, I'm like, all right, okay. But now 40 plus, whatever that means, 45, 49,
well,
who the fuck knows?
That's just Rich Eisen talking out of his ass too, though.
He's not one of those guys, though. He's not one of those rumor guys.
He is one of those guys. He makes shit up all the time.
Does he really? I don't.
He's going to throw his. That's just his opinion. That's his opinion that he's going to get for. That don't mean he's right, Dave. That's not gospel.
No, but I'm just saying, if he is right.
And I'll tell you now, especially when the national media guys talk, I really take it with a grain of salt. I don't buy half the fucking shit they say because they're national media. They're not solely focused.
Is that the reason he's waiting so long?
Well,
he's holding the Steelers hostage till they give him the number.
Look, if he signs a 1-year $40 million deal, hey, no problem. 1 year, $40 million. We had to spend it anyway. Okay, fine. Then we got $40 million under the cap next year when he's off the books.
Well, first of all, if he is going to get $40 million, they're going to have to redo somebody's deal because they don't have $40 million. They got about 28 the last time we saw 30, and they got to sign a draft class, and they like to have a little money going into next season. So somebody's getting redone.
Which is why Rich Eisen just might be wrong on this one.
I hope he's wrong. Believe me, I hope he's wrong because it sounds crazy. Anything else we want to? You want to do the pro days? We still got time? Yeah, we got time.
Yeah, we still got time.
All right. So, as you guys know, or if you don't know, the last 20 years of first round picks, Tomlin and the general manager, whoever that was, either whatever, has gone to the pro day of that player. Except last year, Troy Fuatano, neither one went to Washington's pro day. But we kind of can explain that away. Nobody thought Fuatano was going to be there at 20 when the Steelers picked. I don't think they even wanted to waste the trip out there because they didn't believe Fuatano would be available. So, if they go back to that theory, you've got a handful of teams, and let me pull it up, that Tomlin and Khan did not go to many pro days this year. It was, 6, 7? And Khan only went to 3. Tomlin went to 6. So it's a real weird year. I'm going to read off the teams. They went to Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Clemson, and Texas. If you want to throw Michigan in there, they probably would have gone to Michigan, but Uncle Aaron came to town and they went running, so they missed the Michigan Pro Day. I think you could probably explain away Mississippi too, because they were the day before Tomlin and Khan had to be at this league meetings in California.
Scheduling conflicts.
Yeah, and go from Mississippi to California. They probably wanted to be there a day early to get ready or whatever. So maybe you could throw Mississippi in that because Weidel went. And Weidel only went to one other one. It was Pitt. So that means something. First round talents on these teams. I'll run it down quick for you guys, and then we'll decide if any of those players seems like a first round pick for the Steelers. Georgia, Jalen Walker, Mykel Williams, and Malachi Starks. 2 edge rushers and a safety.
Yeah,
I don't think it's coming from Georgia.
I don't see it.
Malachi Starks isn't the unicorn safety that you would need to do in the first round.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alabama, Tyler Booker, fringe first round guard. Jihad Campbell, linebacker, probably will be. Again, Steelers are not linebacker. Jalen Milroe, do you want to throw him in there?
For what? First round? Next.
All right. So it's those 2 guys. Ohio State. Tyke Williams, first round, borderline.
Maybe.
I don't like him, but the Steelers could be trying to say, well, Cam Hayward came from Ohio State.
Yeah.
The 2 running backs are borderline, Judkins and Henderson. One of them could sneak in the first round, maybe not.
Not the Steelers. That'd be stupid.
And Egbuka, who had a private dinner with Tom.
Yeah, that's the guy that I think they might
He's
like.
up there.
I think they
Notre Dame, Benjamin Morrison is the only borderline first round pick on that team.
Would they? I mean, maybe.
Maybe. He's a corner. He was injured.
Yeah, he's
Clemson.
He's not back at all. I don't think
Yeah.
there's anybody in Clemson who would
Clemson's no way.
rate a first round.
They don't have anybody.
Yeah, anybody.
Texas. Jedi Barron, Matthew Golden,
Yeah.
Kelvin Banks tackle.
Big time
Maybe
Matthew
not.
Golden. Big
Yeah.
time Matthew Golden.
And if you want to throw Michigan, Kenneth Grant, Will Johnson, corner, Mason Graham. And Mississippi, Walter Nolan, maybe Jackson Dart, depending on who you listen to. So that's the list.
And Trey Amos, don't forget him.
Trey
He's
Amos.
climbed back into the
Trey
first
Amos is
round.
borderline. I guess you could throw him in there too.
Yeah.
So that's the list of teams that either Khan or Tomlin went to. If they stick to their history, who's the first round pick?
Now, it's a 50-50 history with Omar Khan. Let's just be clear.
Yes. But again, I think that Fuatano thing just caught them by surprise. They didn't expect him to be there.
And arguably, as much as I defend Omar, you can say that was a huge miss. You were caught by surprise. You didn't go visit the fucking guy. He drops, and then you take him and find out, oh, well, we got a guy who can't get on the field because he's hurt.
Yep. And they interviewed Tomlin after that pick, and he said Omar just wouldn't shut up about Fuatano. He's fallen. Omar, I think he even said Omar wanted to trade up at one point to get him because he was falling and he didn't want to lose out on him. Yeah. So that's an Omar guy.
Yeah.
That's
Omar liked him. I would have to look at the top 30 visits too, because that's a big deal with them.
It is, but again,
like that. A lot of the guys they draft are within their top 30 visits. So
not necessarily in the first round though, Dave.
Well,
first round is
yes.
pro days.
They broke away from that, but they still used to do it a lot.
Oh, subsequent picks, second, third, fourth round comes from those top 30 visits a lot. First round pick.
First rounds, no, they do love the first rounds too, though. Usually they do.
Sometimes it's both. Sometimes they go to the pro day and the guy comes
right. That's true
to
too.
the team.
Yeah, absolutely.
I could potentially see. Well, I disagree with this, but I could potentially see we go get an elite slot corner, which Jahdae Barron, in fairness, is an elite slot corner. If you expect him to play on the boundary, you're fooling yourself.
He played pretty good in the boundary this year, Bob. He played really well.
He didn't.
What's his build? How has he big? Is he?
No, he's small.
5'10".
Yeah, he's tiny.
That's not tiny.
Okay.
For an outside corner, that's tiny because most of the receivers are 6'3", 6'4". You can't give up 6 inches at the NFL level.
Size matters, Dave.
Yes, it does. But I will grant you, he is an elite slot corner. So could I see Mr. Former defensive back coach, if Barron slips down the board, I don't think he will, but if he does, to maybe say, let's go get this elite guy and lock this position up. It is a position the Steelers have very much struggled to fill for a decade.
Long time.
So
it is.
If you went and got an elite slot corner, I could see it. I think the pick would be golden because I'd want the elite weapon for Uncle Aaron. Yeah, but based on I think it's got to be one of those 2 Texas guys. I do not like Egbuka. I think he should be a 3rd round pick. I do not like him.
Damn, 3rd. You're that low on him, huh?
I'm very low on him. I would.
Wow.
There's probably 8 or 9 receivers I would take over him.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far, but
I like him enough where I don't think 3rd, but damn.
He's got all the intangibles. You know, he's a good route runner. He's a good blocker. Great clubhouse guy. Blah 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 blah. And at his pro day, he ran into 4.5.
Are we describing Roman Wilson here? It sounds a lot like Roman Wilson to me.
Well, you could say that. And he ran under 4.5. He ran 4.45. So that was a big threshold for him.
No, he ran 4.48. So he was a lot closer to 4.5 than he was to 4.4, low 4.4s.
They wanted him under 4.5, basically. And he did that.
And they're projecting him as a slot receiver in the NFL. So maybe you could do the quickness and all that. I just don't think there's anything special about him. He's a nice player, but he doesn't fit what the Steelers do to me. Oh, he's a great blocker. Bullshit. George Pickens is a great blocker, and they don't let him block. And Egbuka will be sitting on the bench watching Scotty Miller on running plays.
Skoranek will be out there over him.
We could only hope Skoranek could be out there.
By the way, Jahdae Barron is 5'11", 190. Darius Slay is 6 foot, 192. He's an inch taller and 2 pounds heavier. He's an outside corner.
Forget about those T-Rex arms for Barron.
Jesus. All right. We're not going to argue about that.
I was going to say, are you done? You're not going to convince him.
I know.
It's Bob. You're not convincing him. Okay?
He does have short arms, though. He's a good slot. He's the best slot corner in the class.
I will say this. Barron, Porter, and Slay.
I like that. I do like that.
It sounds good.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing, though. I think
it's possible. Good. It's possible.
It's a massive upgrade over Beanie
Golden Metcalf and Pickens sounds nasty.
I'm telling you. We had that argument about trading off Golden. I'd have a hard time. It'd have to be really good. And I was thinking about it. I don't know if Buffalo trades their 2nd round pick to move up 7 spots, maybe. I think it more likely to be a 3rd.
I think it depends on the player.
They got 30, 56, and I think like 60-something. So you could get I think
it's possible. I'm not saying it's not possible, but that's a lot to give up to go up 7 spots. Yeah. Then you come to Grant. Grant's the other guy. Because I don't think you can rule out Michigan.
Well, I just don't. The more I think about it, you got a 1, maybe 2 down player at defensive tackle. I think that's a guy you draft in the 3rd, not in the 1st. And there are good options in the 3rd. They're not Kenneth Grant. They're not Walter Nolan. Okay, if that happens, I don't hate it. But essentially, you're picking a guy who's going to play on 1st down, maybe 2nd.
The draft is so deep with DL. Like,
yeah,
you can find guys in those 3rd, 4th rounds, man. You can.
To me, the value, I know you guys hate hearing this, but running back is the value. That's probably the best.
Christ, you and the fucking running back.
But they're not going to take one because they didn't go to any of the pro days. They didn't go to North Carolina. They didn't go to
coming in
Boise
for a
State,
visit.
obviously.
I will
What's
say
that?
this.
Hampton's
Okay.
coming for a visit.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dave. What?
I was just going to say, I will say this. I will be willing to say that if it's one of the right running backs that are there, okay. Like, Mara Hampton, I get it. Genty, those two, I get it. I know, Bob. I know you hate him. I'm not going to try to convince you otherwise. I'm just saying.
I don't hate
me,
him. I just don't think it.
For me, those are the two where I'm like, okay, at least you're getting guys that should be, in theory, playmakers for this offense. But anything else other than that, I'm not interested in. Or them going over value for any running backs. I will lose my fucking mind.
They're not going to. Well, they did go to Ohio State. So that
Right.
covers Henderson
And
and
that's,
Judkins.
and that's what kind of worries me.
I like Judkins a lot. I don't know, first round, 20. I like him a lot.
At 21, he'd probably be, at worst, the second running back off the board.
I don't know.
That's too much of a reach.
Wait, ahead of who, though?
Well, at 21, you're assuming Hampton's still there, and they choose Judkins over Hampton.
Yeah,
that would drive me crazy.
Yeah,
that would drive me crazy because I think Hampton's.
I think Genty's a fit for a couple of teams in the top 15 who are going to overlook that he didn't run, that he fumbles the ball, and that he's going to probably be the first running back off the board.
Oh, he's definitely. It seems like it.
Yeah, I would rather have Hampton than Genty. I don't disagree that Genty's not a good player. He's a borderline first round pick to me, just like Hampton is a borderline first round. Any running back is a borderline first round pick. So yeah, I could see doing it. I think if you reach into the first for Judkins, though, I really
not a fan.
He's talented. I would love to have him.
Right, but not in the first.
Not in the first.
Nope.
And the problem is, you're sitting there at 20. Golden's gone. Say for this example, Grant's gone. Now it's Judkins or Egbuka. It's Judkins or Nolan. And now it gets a little murky.
That's why just trade the fuck down.
I think we'd all like to see him trade down. I 100% agree there. But I'm telling you, they could get in that weird area where it's like Judkins might be the best player on the board at that point. If Hampton's gone, Golden's gone for what they want, Grant's gone. I guess we should talk about Walter Nolan a little bit. If we're going to count Mississippi.
You caught our draft show yesterday, Jim Wickens, the draft professor, was really high on Walter Nolan. Said he was probably a top 20 talent.
I think he is. I heard again today, though, there are red flags with him. Character issues. He's not a good dude. Takes plays off.
In with the Steelers.
Yeah. Yes. Takes plays off, tells the coach, he walks off the field, I heard a couple times. Can you straighten people like that out? Yes. Players have been, had issues in college and gone on to have good careers.
You heard that a little bit about Jalen Carter, too. I mean, he had the legal incident.
I was just about to say, didn't one of the,
That's why he didn't go number one overall, because he was clearly the best talent in that draft, but people were worried about him, which at this point, you should worry about every Georgia and LSU player because they're all, I think Georgia had 6 or 7 speeding arrests in the last, since the draft, and since the last game of the season.
Didn't Scatbo's pro day, he ran a 4.6 or something like that?
I think it was even.
He ran a 5.7, but they adjusted it down.
What did I say?
Look,
no, he ran a 4.6.
Okay,
4.6
okay.
something.
Bob had me all fucked up there. What?
In all honesty, if Scatabo had been around, I mean, he's a true throwback guy. I kind of Tom Rathman, Moose Johnston. I see him. He could really slide into that role. Unfortunately, that role doesn't exist.
I think he's a little more athletic than those guys, but I worry about guys who have to win with phillicality in the NFL. Yeah. You got to be different. There's not many guys that win with physicality. You got to be Derrick
Henry.
Yeah, exactly. That's the unicorn. And I don't think Scatabo is even close to that, so he worries me. Is Omar Khan under some pressure? He's got to nail this first-round pick, right? Because Broderick Jones and Fuatanu have not – and I'm not making fun of him. I'm not trying to – I'm just saying there's pressure on Omar Khan.
It depends how they play this year. I mean, if they go out and the offensive line gels with Broderick on the left side and Fuatanu comes in and plays well, honestly, the only, as down as I've been in making fun of, like we talked about it yesterday, Josh Simmons getting mocked to the Steelers. I was like, who the fuck is watching this and mocking Josh Simmons? But the more I thought about it, the idea that Fatano could shift to guard, because there is buzz that could happen. Now, all of a sudden, you get the bookend tackle Josh Simmons to go with Broderick. You shift Fatano inside, and now maybe you
Damn, if they go tackle again.
You dump Isaac and say what you're going to do after this year anyway.
Unless Broderick Jones turns it around. If Broderick Jones plays well, then they don't go tackle again or if Fuatano gets hurt again, I guess you'd have to go tackle again.
Good Lord.
Yeah, there is a world, I guess.
You could protect him more if he kicks inside. I mean, and he could be a very good guard. I mean, he's supposed to be a tremendous run blocker.
Greg, you can make an argument that Derek Harmon's better than both Grant and Nolan. They didn't go to the Oregon Pro Day, so under this scenario that we're trying to hash out, I don't know. Did they go off that and take Derek Harmon?
I cannot see them taking a West Coast player. Number one, because they don't fucking scout them. Yeah. Number two, I think even with Fatano last year, they feel like they got burned. Plus, I mean, honestly, as far as Derek Harmon goes, he's a good player. If you got him in the second round, okay, fine, which we don't have a second round pick. But I like Joshua Farmer better than him. I really do. And Farmer, I think, is a guy, unfortunately, you don't have a second round pick who you could have easily gotten in the second round. No. I don't think he's that much better than an Alfred Collins. I don't think he's that much better than a JJ Pegas. I mean, really, to be honest with you, most of the D tackles, although, yesterday Jim was saying he had, top 20 grades on Grant and on, which was interesting. He didn't say Mason Graham, by the way, but Grant and Nolan is true first round defensive tackles. After that, I think you can get and here's the other thing you got to remember. This is the Steelers we're talking about. If you think a rookie defensive tackle is getting on the field, I got news for you. It ain't happening.
Well, if they draft a guy like Grant, he plays nose, he's going to get on the field. Because they need a nose. They want to move Benton to end to get more out of him.
Are you forgetting about Montravius Adams?
No. I would like to, but no, I'm not forgetting. He's not pushing anybody off. He's not pushing a first round pick out of I'd be shocked if that happened. So it's a weird draft, is what we're saying. If they go by past performance, it's a weird group. Man, I just said that. How fast did he get this out?
He's got a list of hashtags out there.
Has he got them all written down?
I think he does.
Every Steeler on the, and then every player in the league. Jesus Christ, man! I literally just got done saying his name.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I think if they stay with past performance, it's a handful of guys. It's like Buka, Golden, Jade Barron, Grant. Maybe Walter Nolan. Nolan, if you want to give the Weidel thing. Dave, what do you think?
Marion Hampton could wow him. He could wow him in the private workout.
It goes off their thing, though. They didn't go to North Carolina. Even Weidel didn't go. I think they just sent. I don't know who they sent, but it was a scout.
Yeah, personally, I think it's going to be wherever Tom and Con visit. One of those guys, if they're there. Again, the Photon thing was an exception, not the rule. They didn't think he'd be there, so they weren't worried about him, and then he fell. So I think other than another guy falling that they weren't expecting, you can expect one of these guys to be drafted. That's the way I look at it.
If it's Nolan, I mean, let's be honest, if it's Nolan, then Andy Weidel is carrying sway. But don't discount the fact that Tomlin met him at the Senior Bowl. He was the first guy he met.
True.
He loved him, and he never moved off him.
Yeah. No, Nolan, I mean, if what you're saying is true, that he did meet with them, which I think you're right. Then that's good enough for me.
If he comes in for a visit, then there's a lot of smoke there. And
that's the thing. That's why, if I start seeing certain guys coming in to visit the facility, then
I supposedly Hampton came in, right? There. Or is scheduled to come in? Marion Hampton's supposed to come in.
Yeah.
So I guess a punter at 21. You want to see the whole world go berserk? Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no position that we're not thinking of. Safety. guard.
Safety, Nick Ammonwari is the only guy I'd do it. I truly think he's the best player in the draft.
Again, nobody went to South Carolina, but yeah, I could see them falling in love with his.
Did you say in the draft? You believe he's the best player in the draft?
Yeah, I think he's
Really?
the best player in this draft.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I
Bob.
think 5 years out they'll look back and say that's the guy. And I think that he won't be the only guy. I just think he's the best. 6'3" safety, can play corner, runs faster than almost every. I mean, it's unbelievable how his measurables. And if you watch his tape, yeah, okay, I get it. Sometimes he was lazy, but he had a lot of nice plays at South Carolina. And let's face it, fucking South Carolina. They weren't in the mix. I know we think, okay, they might have made the playoffs. They weren't in the mix. Georgia was.
I think Monty Adams. I'm sorry, Bob. I think Monty Adams makes the team. Don't get me wrong. He's got a place as a backup defensive lineman, but I don't think he starts. If they don't draft anybody, he'd have to. But I'm assuming they're going to draft a defensive tackle.
They're drafting one.
Is Cordarrelle Patterson trying to put on enough weight to be the nose tackle?
Fullback?
Let's face
Fullback,
it, he's
maybe?
halfway there.
Yeah.
I can't. He's going to throw that up again on me. That I hate Cordarrelle Patterson, but I don't understand. What did he do to deserve to be still on this roster?
They still got
Somebody
plenty of
enlighten
time. They still got plenty of time to get rid of him.
I know they do, but man,
and it could be that's how they're going to pay Aaron Rodgers $40 million. They're going to dump Cordarrelle Patterson. In which case, you would love the Aaron Rodgers $40 million if it costs us Cordarrelle Patterson.
Well, yeah. I look, whatever at this point. I just think it's silly that you're negotiating against yourself and you're going to pay this guy whatever he wants. But it is what it is. You're right. They're desperate. They need him. They have to have him. Anything else on this? Any guys that we're not thinking of? I mean,
no, I think that's pretty.
No, I think that's everything.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll be back draft tomorrow.
Yep. Bob's mock draft, Tuesday mock draft. We'll be back Thursday, 7 p.m. Guys, thanks a lot. Our chat is the best. I mean, so much fun.
Is what's her name coming on Thursday or no?
I haven't confirmed it yet. I don't want to say it until we confirm it. We might have a guest on Thursday. We're trying to work that out. No confirmation yet, so we'll wait. I'll announce it once I'm sure. If you're not subscribed yet, guys, please subscribe to the podcast and the YouTube channel. That really helps us out a lot. Hit the like button, do all that stuff. That really helps us. We'll be back Thursday, 7 o'clock. Don't forget about Bob's mock draft tomorrow. And thanks for listening to the Steel Sanctuary podcast, guys.
Ain't nothing over till it's over.
What's that from, the 80s?
It's probably the 70s.
This is disappointing as hell.
Now what the fuck are we supposed to do?
Yo, come back now, you hear?
Probably worth the Google.
Saw that coming.